Hello again, everyone, and welcome to week 4. I'm just going to give you a little bit of direct instruction about what you're going to be doing this week. People that are doing paper packets and not online, you would don't pay attention to the technical things that we're doing on the computer or the iPad, but the instruction piece will help you as well. So the first thing you're going to do is there's only 2 things this week. You are going to do module 4 from our activity 4 from our online learning module, and then you are going to do a different website that I will show you here in a few minutes. Just a couple things I want to show you for module 4. Again, you're just going to get logged in. You're going to run by yourself. It should automatically bring you to where you ended. So as long as you ended with week 3 last week, it should bring you to module 4. Remember, activity 4. If it does not, you hit this menu button and you can go to activity 4 over here on the side. So one thing I just want to remind you, read through what it is giving you, even if it seems like it's a little bit long. In this one in particular, there are a lot of videos that it's going to have you watch. I think there's 3 as you move through the module. But like here, like if we watch this first one, it's going to show you, and if you scroll up here a little bit, it says this is an animation of shapes and locations of Earth's plates. Continents are yellow, orange, and red. Black are the outlines of the plate boundaries, and purple are convergent boundaries. So it will explain to you what you're seeing here. So again, just make sure you read through that. This one actually asks you to make a prediction before you actually get into it. You're going to learn this week what is causing the plates to move, but here it's just asking you to make a prediction. You might know, you might not. Just whatever you want to put there is fine. Same thing, it's going to show you a cross section. So we're not going to spend a ton of time on this right now because you have done this the last couple of weeks. But I do want to point out just a couple things here. First of all, you actually don't have to draw anything new this week. It does tell you up here, it is already set with a cross section. It's labeled, everything is ready to go for you. So all you have to do this week, once it loads here, it's taking a second for me to load, but all you have to do this week is hit the play button. Okay, so you don't have to set anything up, you just have to hit play. Okay, and now you can see that it's loaded. I'm going to hit play, and then you just watch it for a little while. So you can see here, if you look at the cross section, you have 3 plates. You have an oceanic plate here, an oceanic plate here, and a continental plate here. So down here it transfers. Here's your ocean plate, here's your ocean plate, and here's the continental plate. So you're just going to watch it for a little while. You can hopefully see the movement between looking up here and down here. And then it's going to go through and ask you a few questions. So taking a couple snapshots just like you did last week. If you're having trouble with that, please reach out. I will help you. The couple of new things that I just want to show you and give you a little bit of instruction on. You guys are going to learn about the layers of Earth this week, and you are going to learn about something called convection currents. So if you look through here, it talks about Earth has layers. We do know this. No, people have not dug down through the Earth to see them, but they use something called seismic waves to figure out what the interior of the Earth looks like. So you have a crust, a mantle, and a core, and I'm just going to show you a different picture here. So you have a crust on the outside, you have a mantle, and then you have an inner and an outer core. So this is what is underneath us right now. So if you look back here, it's going to describe them a little bit. The mantle is solid, it's less rigid than the crust, it can flow. It does a really good job explaining it here. It's like silly putty. So the mantle is like liquid rock, but if you break it quickly, it might break like clay. But if it's moving slowly, it says right here, if you pull in a long, slow, sustained way, it can flow and stretch. So that rock, if it's moving slowly, is flowing. So if you look here, the mantle being right here, if it's moving slowly, it's flowing. Think lava, think magma as it's moving that way. So now that we know that there is that magma in the mantle here, this week the new thing that's going to be introduced to you is the idea that this process called convection and the movement of that rock is what's causing plates to move. So it says right here, rock does move in the mantle. So hotter rock rises upwards. As a result, cooler rock gets pushed downwards. So you guys have probably heard that heat rises and cold sinks. You do have a video here. I'm just going to play for a second. And again, it explains to you what the colors mean here. But here, the yellow is supposed to signal the hot rock. So you can see around this globe that the heat is rising up towards the top of the earth. And then as it gets cold, the colder rock sinks down. And then as it gets close to the core where the heat is coming from, it heats up again and moves up, and then keeps cooling and moving down. And I did want to show you just one more video. We're only going to watch about the minute, but this is another, I should stop. This is another good way for you to visualize what's happening with these convection currents. So as you look at this, I'll let you watch and I won't talk here for a minute, but he has a cup of hot water here and he has put some food coloring. So you can see that the hot water is moving up. So think of this instead of water, think of it as the rock that's inside Earth, but you can see that the hot water moves up and then the cold as it gets cooler is moving down. So it's really neat. He'll show you and then he'll speed it up. So I'll let you watch here for a minute.
Breath. Get ready for one of the most
You heard he rises. Here, you can see it's true.
So picture that rock moving up.
most hypnotic things you'll ever see in a science class.
So there, you can see.
Have you heard that heat rises? Well, here you can see it's true for yourself. I've got some food coloring.
So then I just paused the video so you can see that hot rock would move up. If you think of this as the core of the earth, the hot rock would move up towards the surface, and as it cools down, it comes back down towards the core, heats up, and it continues that process. That is called a convection current. So then the last new thing that I want to show to you guys is how this actually affects plate tectonics. So if you look, here's an example, a cross section of Earth. If you look, we have our core in the middle. Here's the mantle with that liquid rock. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Here's the mantle with the liquid rock right above, and then you have your crust right here on the top. It's a pretty simplified model, but it works. So as you look, this is where the heat is coming from. As that rock heats, it is moving up towards the surface, and then as it cools, it comes back down. So throughout the mantle, you will see these little circles of movement happening. So if you have a spot where rock is being pushed up and moving away, so you see here it's being pushed up and moving to the left, here it's being pushed up and moving to the right. If it's being pushed up and moving in opposite directions, that's where you're going to see this divergence. So plates moving apart from each other. If you look over to the side here, you have plates being pushed down here, or I'm sorry, mantle being pushed down here, cooling. Here you also have a place where mantle is cooling. So here, if you think of this as a conveyor belt, this piece of crust is going to be moving down this way to the right. This piece of crust, as it's cooling down, is moving to the left. So when those pieces are moving in directions like that, but towards each other, this is where you're going to see your convergent boundaries happening. So then you guys, now that you know all that information, you should be able to go through and answer the rest of the questions in your module. It's talking to you about what kind of boundaries do you expect to see where mantle is coming up or moving down. There's a place here where it shows, again, it shows a cross section and then asks you to label which direction do you think the plates are moving and how do you know. So just do your best to answer the rest of those questions. This week is really nice. There's actually only, trying to get to the top here, there's only 5 pages that you guys have to do this week, which is different. The last couple weeks there's been 25 questions you're answering. This week there is only 13. So that is the first thing you have to do this week. Okay, and the second thing you guys are doing this week is you are going to use another online site and you are going to basically review everything that you have been doing the last 4 weeks. So you open this up in Notability. It says the Interactive Earth Worksheet. Once this is in Notability, here is the website. When you click on that link or copy and paste that link, it should bring you to a site that looks like this. I will also include that link like in the assignments. You could touch on it. But it's just an interactive site, just like the one you've been using. There are 4 different sections you're going to click through. It's kind of like an online textbook. And all I will say with this, you guys, is just follow your instructions. So the first one here says click on Earth structure. You're going to go through here up at the top. You can see it says Earth structure. The other thing that you can do is for all of these at the very bottom, it's going to give you like a progression. So here it says start with Earth structure. So if I just get used to clicking on those red links on the bottom, it will automatically bring me through to the next sections that I need. So you look at this. One thing I do have to remind you of, if you are doing this on your iPad, you have to put your iPad the horizontal way. If you don't put it horizontal, there will be some features that don't work very well for you. So you just follow along. It says name the 3 layers of the Earth. So I would go into my first section here, and it tells me right up here at the top. The Earth is made up of these distinct layers: crust, mantle, and core. So then I would go to my worksheet and fill in crust, mantle, core. And then just play around. Like, so for this one, I can click on each layer and it gives me some information. And using this information down here, that is how I will answer my questions on here. All right, and so when I'm done with that section, like I said, right down here on the bottom, it'll say next chapter, and it'll bring me to plate tectonics. The really nice thing about this is there are some little like games that you play as you go through. So it says here, both of these are pictures of Earth. Click on the one that looks more like Earth today. And I think it's that one. Yes, I'm correct. And then we're going to go through, and it gives me basically like an online textbook, but there are some interactives, there's some videos, there's some games that you play, and that's how this one's going to work. And then the very last thing, so you're going to walk through, there's a couple different sections for you to do. This should not take you very long, you guys. It's all old stuff. So if this is taking you a long time, or if you're struggling with something, please let me know, because this one is not meant to take you very long, because it shouldn't be any new material. It should just be reviewing old stuff. Then when you get to the bottom here, this is the very last thing. It says after completing your interactive, click on test skills and take the test until you score an 85% or higher. So if you look here, the very last thing says right up here, test skills. So if you click on that, it's going to give you, I think it's 30 questions. Yep, so 30 questions. And this, again, is just review, use your notes, use your materials from the previous weeks, and then you are going to be answering them. So if I look at this, this is on land, they're moving apart, so I know that that's a rift. Okay, so I'm going to go through and answer. Once you, at the end, it'll give you a percentage. Once you've gotten 85%, take a screenshot, stick that in there, and upload this to Schoology. So that is the week. Those 2 things are what you're focusing on. If you need any help, guys, please reach out. I am here for you always. Have a great week.